Mr Mayor. Question 7 from Councillor Noon to Councillor Moulton on Bedford Place.
Thank you, Councillor Moulton, for your answer, which I don't fully accept. I think, in truth, part of the reason you actually set up the working panel was to actually take the road closure off the agenda. There is overwhelming support from residents in the area, particularly in the Polygon, for the road closure. Can you tell me how these people can actually express that view? You've actually taken it completely off the agenda, and that was part of the reason you actually set up the working panel in the first place. It wasn't necessarily just to receive a concession, it was to take the road closure off the agenda and excluding local residents from commenting on it.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. The working group was set up to find a solution that would work for everyone, whether they're part of the evening economy, the daytime economy, a visitor or a resident. And I think they've done an amazing job. I think it was unanimous, the proposal that was put forward from the group of about 20 odd. I think typically attended the meetings. I think they've come up with a top quality scheme. I think it looks amazing. I'm really excited about it. I think particularly the new square at Moulton Place with the markets that might take place there. Really, really exciting stuff. It's a major investment by the administration. We're keen to move forward in seeking a common denominator, seeking consensus, seeking common ground, and that was the only stipulation that we put to the working group, was don't come back to us with something that half of you agree with and half of you don't, because that puts us in a difficult position. So I think they've done a great job, and I think they should rightly be very proud of the work, and I hope we can all fall in behind them. And if you look at the group, it is a real mixture. For those that have been involved in just talking to some of the traders, you've got people that were firmly on both sides of the fence previously, coming together with a common scheme. So I think let's come together here as well.
Can I come back on that? I actually stepped on the panel, and there was overwhelming bias against the road, against closing the road. You still there was overwhelming support within the Polygon from residents supporting the road closure, and you are excluding those people from making a comment. If the case was proven that there is overwhelming support for this, how can we get this back on the agenda? And the other question I'd like to have the opportunity, you talk about, I do actually got to say, the recommendations coming from the panel were actually good, and I can support them, but I can't support excluding the road closure off the agenda. But the other point I want to make is that you talk about the 20 mile an hour speed limit, and you've been going on about this for the last year. Can you tell me how you're going to enforce it, and who will enforce the 20 mile an hour speed limit? The police have said that they won't do it, so who's going to do it?
I mean, if you look at the design, it's built into the design to slow down traffic. And Bedford Place will have substantial build out to the pavements, and that will physically restrict traffic speed. So some of it you will have to slow down for oncoming traffic. So I mean, it is fundamentally part of the design, the engineering solution. Ultimately, enforcement of the speed is down to the police, but hopefully with an excellent design by our transport engineers, that won't be necessary, because it will kind of be self-regulating by the design of the scheme. I mean, I respect Councillor Noon, you've got a different opinion, and other people have a different opinion, but what we're trying to create here is something that works for everyone, a win-win, not half the people happy and half the people unhappy. And you had more than half the businesses saying they didn't want the road closed, and our policy position is we don't want to force that on them. And we've got the local residents association in Canton Street who came to this council chamber and spoke against it. We all heard that. We don't want to force it on them either, living right next to it. I know there are others with a different view, people that like to go there, that would like to see the whole street closed, but that isn't a unanimous view. And we think the best approach, and the approach that the working group has come up with, is to find something that brings people together, not divides them. So we'll proceed on that basis. It will be an open consultation. People can put in whatever comments they want.
also, just a quick comment. Isn't it not the case that the then opposition leader had already told residents that he was going to reopen the road if he got control of the council? So, you know, you'd already made your mind up. So whatever the working panel said, you weren't going to take any notice.
Thank you, Councillor Noon. So what was said by me from about October, November up to the May election last year, having spoke to the businesses, was that if we won control of the council and there was overwhelming support for closure or reopening of the road by the businesses who were the people that were consulted for, and if there was support for that road to reopen, then we would reopen it, and that's indeed what we did. So we have to remember the original consultation and the original proposal was about a social distance set of propositions for a short period of time to close Bedford Place, and indeed the people that it was closed for to help were saying it wasn't helping them, and so my position to them was if we won control of the council, then we would recommit to them and reconnect with them, ask them their position and act on the result, and that's indeed what we did. And now we have a wider consultation, as Councillor Moulton has said, with those involved to find a permanent solution that everyone can buy into.
Mr. Ivory?